Thanks, Stacy.
Good morning. Good morning, Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to day 570 on Wake Up Everybody Virtual. 570 days. Hello, Grand Rising. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Zoom space. Glad to be back with you today.
Good morning, Stacy.
Hi, good morning, Adam. How are you?
I'm pretty great. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. You got that nice vitamin D right in front of your face, so that's nice. Sun shining.
Oh yeah, you know it. I gotta have that sun because that's what makes it sexy, right?
That's it. That's what makes it sexy. The sun is sexy.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. So good to see y'all in the space. Thanks for being here for day 570 in the Wake Up Everybody community. Can you all believe it? Yes, of course you can believe it. Or maybe you can't. But it's day 570. Thank you so much for being here, sharing your time, which is very valuable. So I appreciate it. We appreciate it here at Wake Up Everybody. Thank you. Y'all can grab some water. You can even grab a pen and a paper if you want to take any notes for today. Thank you for being here in the space. Grand Rising. Good morning, Facebook family.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together.
Hello and Grand Rising. Wake up, everybody, family. How is everyone today? How are you all feeling? How is everyone doing? I'm so glad to be with you here in the space. If you're on Facebook Live, thank you for being here. If you are here in our Zoom space, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. If you were here yesterday and you came back, thank you. Thank you. It is April, and April is Autism Awareness Month. And I had a slide up yesterday that says Autism Awareness Month is April. However, Autism Awareness is every day in my house is Autism Awareness Day. If you don't know, I have a child who is on the spectrum of autism. So Autism Awareness is always celebrated for me not just April, but every month. It's an everyday kind of thing going on over here. So that's what I'm bringing to the world and to the community, that we could all actually have more awareness and acceptance around autism, people who have autism, which is also called ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder. So once we start to bring our awareness to it, then we can start to see what those characteristics look like, what all of the different nuances may be, even though it's not like, because I always say, if you know one person with autism, you know one person with autism, right? You might have a cousin, a family member, a neighbor, somebody that you're like, oh, they have autism, so I know that person has autism, which doesn't mean that that has to be the case. So first, what I want to start off with is autism does not have a look. So that is something that's very important to take on as in our minds, because you may walk around and actually think that. So I want to know if there's anybody in the space, and not any wrong, like to make anybody wrong. Do you think that autism has a look? Like in your experience, that you feel like, okay, well, autism does have a look. And I'm talking about physical features when I say a look, physicalities, physically. So if there's anybody in the space who does feel that, you can put that in the chat. You can put it in the chat, or you can raise your hand or come off mute. So come off mute. And if you're in the Facebook section, if you're on our Facebook Live, then you can also put that into the chat, what you think autism looks like. And after yesterday's session, because there are some people that I believe even could have had a difference in their opinion based on yesterday. So yesterday, if you already thought, yeah, there is, but yesterday at the end of the session, you were like, okay, maybe not anymore. I would like to hear from somebody what shifted for you. What was what changed after yesterday's session, like just from getting any information. So anybody let me know if you have an actual answer for that or an experience with that. And don't be shy, you can let me know, or you can raise your hand, and if not, I'll give it about 10 seconds, and if not, then I'll move on.
Okay, I'm expecting that people are typing right now. Miranda did say yes until now. And don't have any other comments at this moment.
Is Miranda in the Zoom space?
Yes.
Okay, hi Miranda, are you able to come off mute?
She may not be able to.
Did she say I'm walking?
She's under a bridge. Yes, walking under a bridge.
Okay, got it. Because I'm interested in knowing what was the look, since that's one of the main the topic for today. And since you did reply, it would be great to have your voice in the space, or if you can type that in the chat. What did you think before yesterday? What was the look? What was the look, or what were maybe some opinions that you had about it? Let's see if she replies.
She says, hard to explain, different features.
Okay, so great. So hard to explain, different features. So that would be a conversation that I've interacted instead of us, so that we don't take up that much time that the admin has to read it. So if you have a minute, you want to be a contribution to it further, it'd be great that if you can come in later on, or if you come in within the next few minutes and be able to verbalize that. Thank you. Okay, so what we're going to do is actually I want to bring a centering so that we can just come into a centering, which is just get ourselves I normally do that even before I start with any questions, but hey, it's a new day. We're going to start one now, and then we're just going to have some movement. So I would like everyone who's out there just to arrive here, just to what it might take for you to land in the space right now. And when I say land in the space, like actually, like I just imagine the feather like moving like this, and then it's floating until it just settles down on the ground or the grass or wherever it is. So just taking that moment for you, just take a minute and close your eyes. And you can bring your left hand to your heart. I'm sorry, your left hand to your belly, your right hand to your heart. And take a deep breath in. As you take the deep breath in, you can feel your belly go out to your hand. As you exhale, you can sigh it out. You'll feel your navel go back towards your spine. Do a few more rounds of that, just being with yourself and your body, checking in with yourself. Awesome. And then you can just slide your hands together right in front of your heart center. And as they press together, I want you to put the left palm down on your heart and the right hand right on top. And we're just going to take a deep breath just like that. I want you to get connected to your heart center, your heart chakra. Feel your heart beat. Taking in the breath as you get to feel your heartbeat, knowing that there's a oneness there with yourself, a oneness there even with everyone else, a oneness with the divine, tapping into that. And if you can feel that this morning, then you're already blessed. You have a heartbeat, you have the breath of life. You're here another day. So taking a nice deep breath for gratitude and just sigh it out. Deep breath in for compassion for yourself. First, give it to yourself. Deep breath in. Exhale. Deep breath in of love for yourself. Love. Don't you deserve that? Awesome. Now that you have that for yourself, gratitude, you have compassion for you and love for you. Now I want you to take a deep breath and give it out. Send it out. You'll have some for yourself. Deep breath in of compassion and send that out. All across the Zoom, your borough, your state, your county, your country, your world, your planet, the universe. And letting that love reverberate from every pore of your body. You stay connected to your breath and exhale that out everywhere around you, that you can share your love. And it's okay if you don't want to share it. If you're open to share it, we accept it. Thank you. And just anything that you came into the space with that you need to release, you can just take a deep breath and sigh that out. Release the hands down. You can inhale your palms up. Oh, I couldn't do this yesterday. Hey, so good. Exhale, press away. Really have to thank your body. You don't have to, but it makes a difference to thank your body. Thank you, body. Bring in health and wealth into your mind, body, and spirit. exhale, press away anything the opposite, lack, dis-ease, let it go. Awesome. And one more time up for whatever you want to bring into your day, your life, your mind, your body, your spirit that's positive. Bring it in. Oh, yeah. Rub the hands together at the top. Like, you know, when you're getting some money or you're getting something you want, you're like, ooh, let me rub those hands together. Bring it up. Awesome. Exhale and pull it down right in front of you, right in front of your heart center, taking that with you. Awesome. And just shake it out. Shake it out. So whatever you came into the space with, whatever you may have, you can just totally shake it out. I'm always down to shake, releasing energy. So you can stand up, shake it out. You can let out the noise like a little horsey. All right. Great. Okay, so we're going to get into it. All right, everyone. So autism. Autism has three main characteristics which affects a person socially, with social skills, communication, and that may be expressive or receptive communication, and then also repetitive behavior. So those are some things, one of the main three characteristics that even though autism shows up differently for each individual, those are like the three staples that you're like, okay, and it's going to show up in some way or definitely with one of those. And when I said autism does not have a look, I brought that up because a lot of times people look at people who have autism and say, oh, but he don't look like he have autism. She don't look like she has autism. So it's just want to just like have that out there because there is no look. So even if you thought there was a look, it's not. It can't be categorized by a look. I know that there are certain challenges in, I don't even like the word disabilities, trying to think of it, but how, what community, if we say disabilities or in society, that may have a certain features, that may have certain features, then they will, of course, may be able to classify or say, oh, this person may have Down syndrome due to these characteristics. However, it's not that way with autism. So what characteristics do you look for? So when I say autism is not a look, it's not a look regarding the person's face, regarding their physical features. And then when I say what they look for, because some people, just not to get it confused with what does autism look like. So if I say, what does autism look like going forward, that would be in the characteristics of what that may look like. So what are some characteristics that you know autism look like, or that you think autism look like, but not look feature-wise, but what are some of the things, the characteristics that you know about autism? And you can type that in the chat, or if someone wants to, you can come off of mute and yes, and say some things that you know about autism or the characteristics to look for.
Z says a distant or disconnected expression. And Miranda says she's home now.
Okay, Miranda. Great. Okay. So, and thank you. So you said a disconnected expression. Okay, so yeah, I was moving on to rather the some of the characteristics of autism, like the actual characteristics that are necessarily not, they're not physical. And Miranda, if that was our friend who was walking under the bridge, if you can come off mute or come on camera, that would be great. So I can, yeah.
Hi, I don't know, my camera won't work. I have to edit the settings. Let me see.
Okay, great. Thank you for being here, Miranda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Dion? Nice to see you.
I'm Stacy. Hello?
Miranda? Are you there? Okay, she's coming in.
I could.
She's
I
coming in on
could,
another
like-
device. So maybe something's up.
Sorry, I got bumped
Okay.
off. I look terrible.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Miranda, this
Speak
is
life,
Stacy.
speak life. Speak life. I'm Stacy, Miranda. Stacy
Oh, you're
or
Stacy.
Yogi.
I'm sorry.
Hey, no problem, no problem. So I know earlier I was asking if there's any shifts from yesterday for anybody who was on, or any shift that where what they thought autism looked like, but due to yesterday's conversation, maybe where they feel like, oh, something shifted or changed. So what was that for you?
So I wasn't on yesterday's call, unfortunately. I missed that.
Okay, great. So that doesn't matter, because even if you still thought that, you know, autism have a look, that's the conversation that we were in. So even if there was something, a way that you may have thought like, oh, autism looks like this, or physically, what would that look like? What was that for you?
I'd say like kind of like elongated features. They tend to wear glasses. But I think mostly like the elongated like features is the feature that I would recognize as like an autistic person prior to this conversation.
Okay, got it. Got it. And do you know anybody who have autism? Well, you said you from features. Do you have any family members, friends, or work with?
Yes.
I don't know, just throwing stuff out there.
Family, friends, yeah.
Okay. Okay, got it. So and that was something that was important that I wanted to bring up, because I said, well, autism doesn't have a look. So I was gonna have a lineup. It's great because something that I will be doing in the future is going to have a also like a lineup of people, and where people are like, oh, well, this person may have autism, or oh yeah, it's for sure this one. And doing that because I've lived that, and it's just interesting to see, because there isn't a look, there isn't a specific physicality that a person with autism have. However, they may have different mannerisms, and you might say, oh, you know, because I saw someone in the street and I said, oh, my son does that. I wonder if that person has autism. Just because my son does it doesn't mean that they had to. However, when I asked his mom, or I spoke to him, I said, oh, he reminds me of my son. My son has autism. I think he was flapping his hands, because some people who are on the spectrum do that for sensory, or do that for it's or stimming. So she said, oh, he has autism. And I said, oh, okay. So, you know, that's something that I thought of. So yeah, so there isn't a look. However, do you know of any characteristics that you may know from the people that you know that has you be like, oh, okay, this person may have autism due to these characteristics?
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes hard to like carry on a conversation with them. And then like my friend's brother, for instance, who I grew up with, he'll call me out of the blue, he's such a sweetheart. But then like randomly in the middle of the conversation, he'll just be like, "Okay, bye," and like hang up on me. Like he does that all the time. But I mean, I love the kids so much, so sweet.
Yeah, and that's awesome, because that's actually the socialism component. Like I just mentioned, that there's 3 components, main characteristics for that you can see in autism across the board, which does affect you socially, and then neurologically, communication, and repetitive behaviors. So that's something that's so because yeah, my son now he's a bit more mindful after, you know, working with him. But he would just be like, okay, you know, gotta go. Click. He's not even waiting for, you know, to say bye. It's like, all right, gotta go. Boop.
I'm here.
But now he's just like, okay, did you hear me? So, you know, so definitely with assistance, and with prompting, and with being in social environments, or giving social cues, those things make a huge difference. So thank you so much for being in this space. I so appreciate you for being on and interacting with me. So
Thank
that
you,
we can all
Stacy.
grow. Yes, you're welcome. So this way we all get to grow and bring awareness as a community. So thank you so much. Yeah, is there anything that's in the Facebook or anybody else who would like to share something that they know about autism or how they may see some characteristics?
Right, let me
That-
read what's in the chat.
Mhm.
So D says a distant, or did I say that already? I think I did.
Uh-huh.
Cheryl says spinning around in circles to get upset when try to stop them. Shawnee says persons with autism may process external stimuli differently. Zuhura says blank glance periodically. And from Facebook, Imani says blank glance periodically. That's a tongue twister. Blank glance periodically.
Okay. And
And
somebody in
Imani,
Facebook said,
yes, Imani from Facebook says, no, did not think there were physical characteristics. She also says difficulty empathizing. Suhura says preoccupied. Jacqueline says, all of my autistic students and autistic children of friends look different. And Shawnee says, may have a low tolerance for or high sensitivity to physical touch.
yeah, so everything that, I'm sorry, go ahead, you were saying more?
And Teresa has her hand up.
Okay, okay. So yes, everything that everyone said, those are great. Those are things too that you can see that will have someone that you like, you can notice about somebody who's autistic. But what if you didn't know that they were autistic and they actually had that character? And I'm gonna get Teresa in a minute. So what, when my son was being diagnosed with autism, and he was diagnosed at 21 months. Before that, when they gave me a whole list, now let's say they had a list of maybe about 50 things on the list, different characteristics. So at that time, if your child had 6 or more of these combined characteristics, then they were labeled autistic. So you could have somebody who could be walking around toe walking, what they call toe walking, or like walking on their toes, or toe walking, or if somebody had some of those characteristics, like, you know, not really look like they're interested, not giving, like poor eye contact, not actually engaging with you socially, not, it kind of seems standoffish, like I don't even want to be bothered, don't want to kind of talk to you, or people who didn't want to be held or have sensory challenges. However, if they didn't have 6 of those things combined, then they wouldn't have an autism diagnosis. So it's interesting because there are some other things that are nonverbal challenges that also people think are autism, but it's not. Yes, and I just found out recently about Chris Rock. I forget what it is. It's nonverbal. It's something like where you can't pick up nonverbal cues in a situation. However, it's not autism, but you do have some of those characteristics are displayed, which are displayed in autism. So it can be, you know, I would say to everyone's so great. Those are things that definitely that you can see, and you wouldn't want to just pinpoint the person as being autistic if you saw any of those. But if you know somebody who have autism and you know that they do those things, great, because they may do those things. And I always say, if you know one person with autism, you know one person with autism, because the spectrum is vast. We have mild to extreme, like mild to severe. So in the middle, like where my head would be if this was like a whole scale, the spectrum, and then I'm in the middle, this is like moderate, right? So it can go from that to that. Teresa, you can come on. Hi, how are you?
Hi, peace and blessings. I'm lovely. Oh, wait a minute, hold on.
Peace and blessings.
Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Yes. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, hi, get peace. One of the questions I wanted to ask is that like I have a family member who's been having like a lot of problems like with schooling and stuff. And sometimes, you know, they do like it's like a little boy, and sometimes like they just do like kind of dangerous stuff. And so I was thinking about him yesterday, and I was just wondering, you know, if that's what was going on with him, because he he's very, very smart and stuff like that. But like certain things, like if he can't like get what he wants, he just kind of, and then sometimes he just does like just outbursts or whatever. He just does outbursts and different things like that. So I was just wondering if that's something that like how do you, you know, like speak to the parent to let them know. And also I was just wondering is that I feel like since you're talking about this, that I wonder how many adults are walking around here with autism because the parents did not know how to handle whatever. They just was not, you know, dealt with. You know, so it's like how do you know something like that is going on with an adult also if they have not been diagnosed? And those are my questions and I'm complete.
Got it. So the first one, when you said with you said your nephew, was it?
Yes, my nephew, one of my nephews is he just does like look like
How old is he?
he's 12 years old
Okay.
and he's
Okay.
having
So
like a in school and stuff. And he's like, it's
oh,
just, yeah, really bad because some days he don't know how to concentrate, and he just gets up and you know just gets up and go, you know. And I was telling the mother was saying he has some other issues. I said, but you know, it's what he does is not you know sensible, and you know I just feel like you need to just go find something else. So yesterday I was thinking, I was wondering if that's what's going on with him the whole time.
yeah, well, she wouldn't know exactly until she got him diagnosed. Is she interested in getting him diagnosed, or at least going to see someone about the behavior to see if there's something that she wants to is that something you spoke to her about, or is she aware, or is she thinking about
But
getting him diagnosed?
I'm gonna talk with her back about it because um I know that you know he does have special needs and stuff like that, but sometimes it's just a random, just like he was with me one time and I told him he couldn't do something, and he just went totally like you know like really berserk, and you know, and it was like it was no stopping. It was like his mind was like he just left. We was walking to the store and he just left, and he just left me, and I was like I can't chase you, you know, I really cannot chase you, and you know, and I did tell him, I said, I said, if you don't come back, I might call the cops because I don't want to be responsible for you if something happens to you. And then I just sit here and let them. So when I said that to him, that he came back, but he was still very, you know, upset by the time he came back. But I didn't know what else to do because he was like walking way down the street, you know, like past my house, and
So
I didn't
question
have.
for you.
Yes,
Does he go to a specialized school? Does she have him in any special program?
I know
Like
he
is
was
he
going. He was going to some type of special program at one time, but I don't think I like like she just says that it's just him, you know, being disrespectful. And I said, baby, it's more to this because, you know, he just does these outbursts just for no reason, you know, like sometimes if he gets mad about stuff, he just start destroying stuff. And I told her, you know, she kept on saying, the doctor say there's nothing wrong. I said, I don't care what the doctor say, you know, something gotta be wrong with old, you know, so I don't know.
so
I'm just gonna
maybe
talk with her about it and just see, you know, maybe she gets some help.
yes,
It could be
because
something.
what's there, what may be there for her, because even if she used those words, unless you're paraphrasing, but if she did use those words, there's not the doctor says nothing wrong with him. So what moms or parents, what they moms, dads, parents, caretakers would be great for them to get is that there is nothing wrong with him. So even if the doctor, so that's something I think that's a lot of times in our community and beyond when people are saying, oh, you know, what's wrong with it, what's wrong? The word wrong automatically will take somebody out of getting the diagnosis for their child because they think something is wrong. So,
Right.
but taking that on, a parent may also start to think, oh, what did I do wrong? Something's wrong with me, wrong with my parenting. What did I do wrong that something's wrong with my kid? So it's all in the languaging. So she cannot be even open to someone who comes to say that, because the doctor said nothing's wrong with him. And everybody's coming going, what's wrong with your kid? Not saying you are, but she probably gets it from other people. What's going on with them? So I think a way to address it is actually saying, even if you say to her, well, I was on Wake Up Everybody, and the mom was talking about autism and different special needs. And, and what's his name? If you want to share.
I don't want to say his name. But,
okay. So I'll pretend I've been using, so let's say his name is Tim, and you're like, okay, well, does Tim, I noticed some things with Tim and when I'm with him. So I would like to ask you, how do you think we can best serve Tim? I think it would be great, because he's a great kid, that if we get to see some things where he can get some assistance for some of the behaviors that he had, that we know that he has, so that this way we could be able to bring some positive change together. I'm here for you, and there's nothing wrong. Actually stating that there's nothing wrong. There's just some characteristics, some things that he may be dealing with, and we don't even know how to deal with him or deal with that, because we're not sure completely about what it is. So how about we take that on together? If you're willing to take that on with her, or if you're just like, how about we go to the doctor and find out regarding this, or speak to a pediatrician regarding this, that we would like to have him evaluated, just so that we can get him some assistance, even if it's just dealing with his anger and his outbursts. Because if that's all that she sees right now, oh, it's an outburst, or he's just doing that, because too many times we label the child as disrespectful, or the person as disrespectful, and it's something that they are not doing as a form of disrespect, but it's an actual symptom of their diagnoses. So that's a huge difference.
Right. So, and that's what I was thinking about, because I just feel like he really does not know how to handle, how to handle his anger, like when he gets angry, and it just goes to the extreme sometimes, And so, he's been like, one of my babies that I've been worried about for the long, but it wasn't until I came in here today to figure that maybe that could be what's going on with him. Just listen to everybody I was talking about yesterday. It just made me think about that. So thank you so much, Stacy.
You're welcome. And thank you so much for sharing, Teresa. And I think that's one of the big things. And other people, and thank you, Teresa, for bringing that into space, because it's probably not just Teresa who may be thinking that. There may be other people here who have loved ones, or who have people in their lives, or family members, cousins, co-workers, and you're like, something is off with this child. Something is different with this child. Some of you have other language that is not maybe even that nice. Something wrong with him. Something's going on here. So even if there's something that may pop up for you that, oh, something's different about this child, what would be the best way? And sometimes you can say it in the nicest way, non-confrontational way, and the parent is still going to take it whatever way they take it. And you can't control that. But if you are willing to be a stand, or put yourself out there to say, you know what? Whatever way this turns out, I'm fine with it, because I actually want to, my bigger picture is to just have that for the, to bring this forth for the actual person who has autism, or the person who having this special need that I can see, or something that may be where they can use some extra assistance or services. I'm going to speak to their parent. I'm going to speak to their mom. So it gets to take it off of you. Don't make it personal about you. So when you make it personal about you, then those are some things that you start to, then you start putting that stuff that's in the space. So thank you.
So what do you say about the adults that could be having? About the adults
what'd you say?
The adults that.
Oh yeah, and then for adults, I mean, there's for people who are adults, and because there are people who get diagnosed as adults, and then they'll say, you know what, I had this the whole time, but I didn't know that it was autism. It may be somebody else who pointed out to them, like a coworker or a friend. Recently, I'll forget what I was watching, and a woman said, it was my friend who pointed it out to me, who were just like, you know, I know somebody who has autism who has all these little different things and nuances that you actually do. You should see if that is something that, or just get diagnosed just to see, you know. And then they got diagnosed and was like, oh wow, they found out that they had autism. So something that you definitely want is first, before getting into anything else, because I think I did see neuropsych pop up in the chat, and I'll get to that. Before even a neuropsychological evaluation can be done, you have to be able to have a conversation with the person. And that's going to take something from you. It's going to take your tone, is going to take a space of love, and be in a space of love and coming to that person with a tone of, I'm here for you, and we can do this together. And if you're not willing to do it together, you can still come to the person as, okay, well, you know what? This is some things that I heard. Kids have a great success rate once they are diagnosed, and then they get the help that's needed and the services and therapies that's needed. And then, you know, they're able to listen, because if they're not able to even hear you, all of that is out the window. Yes. So here's some different characteristics. And is there anything in the Facebook chat that's coming up in Facebook? Hello, Facebook. I want to make sure that they're included in the conversation.
Nothing from Facebook right now, but there are Zoom comments.
Okay, got it. Okay, so what are some of, before I get to the yeah, we can take a minute and go over some of the comments before I get into some of the other characteristics.
All righty. Aaliyah has a question. She says, how much do you think society, especially, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm thinking she's asking, how much do you think society has ODD and ADHD? For example, do you think this is American-based? How come we don't hear about this in other countries, at least not to this large degree? And Yolanda says, there are many adults walking around with autism and they are not aware. In adults, you will notice the lack of social skills, saying things that are completely out of context, and many adults that are on the spectrum are introverts. So she says to Teresa, please suggest to the mom that she should possibly have a neuropsychological evaluation to get a broader understanding for her child. And here's a Facebook from Imani. I absolutely agree with that statement, Stacy. There is nothing wrong with the child. Yolanda says rates are much higher in adult men than women. And Teresa from Facebook says, I've seen shows where an autistic person was locked into their mind. But when music, art, adaptive devices, or other activities are introduced, they connect and open up in ways that are magical. And Noel just dropped in. There are also many adults who have Asperger's, but unaware of it.
Yes, yes, yes to all of that. And what the person, Aaliyah, what she said regarding ODD, because when Teresa was speaking, I also thought of ODD, which is oppositional defiance disorder. So also that could be, so that's why what Yolanda said, it would be great if the child has a neuropsychological evaluation. But that's and not to make up a story about it, when you're speaking to a person who is to say, listen, the doctor said there's nothing wrong, or speaking to people with sliding in, it's kind of just like you want to warm them up. It's kind of just like foreplay. You don't want to just go right in. You want to be able to have them be in a space of love and to be in a space of, and they may not get to a space of love, but if you're being that, then it will be more, they will be more susceptible to getting your advice, maybe. And then remembering that maybe they won't, but at least you were able to actually share that with them. And, you know, that makes a huge difference. And I can't speak about other countries, but definitely, you know, here in the US, because this is where we live, and there could be other, definitely these autism in different countries, because I know people who are from different countries who have children with autism or in the autistic community. So I don't know what the prevalence is there. However, I'm not sure like what their ratios are here. Like right now, it's 1 in 44, and boys are 4 or 5 more times likely to have it than girls. So when my child got diagnosed in 2006, that number used to be 1 in 110 or even 1 in 90. So for it to be 1 in 44 right now, that is, wow. Wow. It's like, it's every year, it keeps getting higher and it's getting higher and higher. So for bringing awareness to that and bringing the acceptance along with it, awareness is going to be key, and being able to spot things or see things, or even if there's some nuances or differences that are with different children in your family or your life, you can bring it up, not to tell the mother that their child have autism, but to just let them know, oh, okay, I know that you see he has some different challenges. Have you done anything for that? Have you got him evaluated just to see what that is without putting a label on it? That's what helps. I was one of those moms who didn't care who people came up to me. I was not the mom who was offended. If somebody was like, oh, what's going on with him? Or what's it? It didn't bother me because I already knew who he was. And a lot of people are not me. And I get that because I have friends who have children with autism and they are just like, listen, don't come ask me nothing about my kid. Right? So there's some people that's like that too. So here's some things that I just want to read off. So some of the things to look for, some of the characteristics or that a child or adult or an autist, period, may be dealing with are social interaction difficulties, problems in verbal or non-verbal communication. Infants may not want to be touched or held, like Shawnee mentioned something about like, you know, hugging, I think she said, or something along those lines, which could be sensory. So that's why I said that when you know one person, it's like, okay, that person, because some people are like, when my son was growing up, the parents at his school, when we lived in LA, will always say, oh my God, your son hugs you and let you kiss him. My child does not let me do that at all. Maybe once every 4 months. So you can imagine for a parent, that may be something that might be very challenging. They may be taking it personal. Oh, my child doesn't want to hug me, doesn't want to touch me. But instead of taking it personal to see, okay, that's what they may show their love in other ways, looking for other ways where they may show their love. Because my son has been a hugger. He's the hugest, most affectionate person that I know. So everybody is different in that sense, right? But those are still things that you can look out for that may be with a person with autism. Repeat certain words, phrases, or physical movements, like doing the same things over and over. Somebody said spinning. And spinning, also, my son used to do that all the time. So when he's spinning, he's trying to find himself in space. And when I mean space, like where he's at, because sometimes sensory-wise, to have your body, like when he was doing the spinning, like the doctor would say, like, you know, then he's able to find where he is, like find his grounding. So early intervention, which is why it's so great when you have early intervention, because he got early intervention as soon as he was diagnosed. I had him in early intervention probably 3 weeks or less. And he was going to different therapies and floor time, speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy that they used to have at downstate. And then when I took him to the sitter, I would have the therapist come to the babysitter so they can work with him while he was at the babysitter. So having those things make a huge difference, implementing those things so that your child can have the most benefit, so that they can start to, and I'm going to say this because this is my experience, start to break out of some of the patterns, or at least actually start to deal with themselves better. So dealing with themselves, their bodies, and how they are in the world. So something my son used to use, they put on him, was a weighted vest. So the vest probably was like about 5 pounds to 10 pounds. But remember, this is a 2-year-old. So they put it on him so that he could just feel like that groundiness and connect this to calm, so he could be calm. This Christmas that just passed, I bought him a 20-pound blanket. And I know it's just for, so he's a person who loves deep compression. And when I used to go on autism sites and read adults who have autism, and this was decades ago, that they would actually, not decades or over a decade ago, some people would lay in between mattresses so they can have the weight of the mattress on them, and they would just lay there for hours because they said, oh, it feels so great. So they're getting that deep compression in the sensory that they needed. So there's different things that may look weird to us or like, why are they doing that? But they have something behind it for their sensory. And what I say, physical movements may require environment to be the same, may not tolerate a change in their actions or their diets or their environments. Like, let's say if they have a certain routine, if you go off that routine, for some, it's gonna be, whoa, baby. Some parents will be like, it's a shit show because you didn't let him go to, he's used to stopping and walking past the red door on the way to school where he can pet the dog and then take a drink of water from that water fountain on this specific street. If you took a different way around to go to school or a different way, forget about it. And when I say they, so no one gets offended, I'm speaking about some people who have autism, not they, like they can all be in one big bag. So just knowing that, oh, wow, I see how that happened with my kid or how that happened. And my son used to also be in, okay, I'm going to do this. And when I remember living in California, I would drive on a different highway. He was crying, no, we have to take the other way. And I would be looking like, we're not going home, like, calm down. And I made sure that I shook it up. Even though he was uncomfortable with it, that was my style of parenting. Everybody's not me. That is something that I did. So I was like, society is not going to give my kid everything ABC the way that he wants it. So if I told you going to the doctor today, or you're going to go to a party today, and then they didn't go to the party, then a meltdown may occur. And that's because there's so much sensory and so much overwhelm going there with them that that's the way to express themselves would be through a meltdown. It doesn't mean this kid is bad, this kid is misbehaving, any of those things. It means that's how I'm coping. You cope how you cope, this is the way that I cope. And it's just called a meltdown. And imagine how many adults, if it was accepted, will have a meltdown in public. How many of you right now would just be like, if your boss did something at work and you went to be like, oh my God, I hate it here. Don't you hate it here? Every time this jerk, blah, 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 I can't take it. Why? If you could probably do that at work, you probably would. Just so you can get it out and you can be like, I'm done, or get that out of your system. So we can't just judge them or just be like, oh, well, you may let them have their time. Other people may be looking and it's like, okay, that's what my kid needs right now. If he's not harming himself or harming others, then you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and let him release. And then we can come back together to say, okay, how do you feel now? I know you weren't able to walk past State Street today, and we're going a different way, and it's okay. It's okay. So it takes a lot of patience, and I know a lot of parents, their patience is very thin, and they're just like, I cannot deal with this, and this is more of a reason why it's imperative to get services. Social services, like for their social play dates so that they can be more social, and just being able to find out what your kid may need for their sensory, or the adult or the person who has autism. Yes, and something, yep, so I mentioned that already. So is there anything, I know I saw the chat going off, and if there's anyone who has any questions so far, or in a Facebook space, or somebody wants to come in to interact with a question, or if you want to read the chat first, or tell me what's in Facebook.
Okay, Shawnee had her hand up and then she took it down. Shawnee, do you still want to say something?
Yes, sorry about that. Yeah, I was going to talk about a terminology that has been used in the last several years about neurodivergence. Just recognizing the need to shift the paradigm in the conversation about this being a disability, and how the world, I view it as the world needing neurodivergent people to be in the lead, that they're activating a relationship with our sensory, like you were speaking about, our sensory abilities, and going from just thinking that the mental, like processing information from the mind is enough, because it's not. I talk about that all the time, like being able to feel and intuit and negotiate the world differently, I think is going to make the difference for what the future is bringing. And something else I was going to say, Stace. Oh, you were saying how years ago there were less folks being diagnosed. I feel, especially in our community, there was a resistance to getting folks checked out. There was the labeling, oh, that child is bad, or the old term. I'm saying this because it's an old term, not because I use it, but just
Right.
calling folks retarded, and just putting some other label on and not getting the individuals the support that they needed so they can navigate the world freely and not be penalized, persecuted, labeled, stigmatized. Because I remember going to school, and I'll say this last piece, having the folks with special needs in my high school, especially, on another floor, separated from the other students. It was just really ugly. So I don't believe that they didn't exist. I just, meaning these diagnoses. And I also think it's environmental and foods associated too. But I just feel like they weren't taking young people, babies, kids, to get them checked out. And then the medical profession and the psychological profession didn't understand how it worked. So there were less people being diagnosed that had this neurodivergence within them, or just a processing difference than the other people. And I'm complete.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And that can add to it. And it's a statistic that I saw, and I didn't pull it up because it had regarding white and Hispanic, how with Caucasian was more had a higher diagnosis than Hispanics, but then the ratio for African Americans to Hispanics were higher. So, and just seeing that is all across the board. And when I'm at schools and places, in different places, there isn't any more than one color or ethnicity more than the other. I'm like, really, like, if I'm thinking back to my son being at school, and I mean like everybody in the class, there could probably been 3 of each. You know, I saw I didn't see as many Asian students, maybe because of where I live in the population, but Hispanic, of Indian descent, African American. So it's really was being across the board. And also there's other environmental things that's come up. And of course, because we can go on and on about vaccinations, I'm not going to go into that today. That is a large reason for many people who had that experience with their child, who said, my child was a totally different person. I know lots of people personally. My child was already on their way, above average, got their vaccination, total different kid. Next day, not even the same kid. And I would be pretty irate. And I know that God has a path for everyone. And I think that I don't know who I would have been in the space to see that. I remember doing some research on a 12-year-old boy who was in 6th grade general education, going to a regular general education school. His mom said everything was good, that he went and had his vaccines and came back. And the next day she said he had no speech, banging his head on walls, like just doing different things. Like, where the hell is my kid? What's going on? And some of that went to the metals and the different, like, that it started across the board, where even lead poisoning could even look like autism. And that has to do with the metals in the body, and also from the vaccinations. And those are different environmental, not just environmental changes that we do have going on with the air quality, our food, but also those things that may be going on as well. So, yeah, so with the rates going up and up, it's very interesting just to see that. And definitely going to look into more of that. Like, I don't want to just speak about it, just be like, oh, I know. No, there's some things that this is great because it brings awareness, and for us to like always step back into that. Like, I learn something new every day, and it's great to be willing to do that, so that this way we can continue taking ourselves on. So thank you so much for that, Shawnee. And then I'm gonna go, I know it's 8 o'clock. So next I'm just gonna go into actions to take. But before we do that, I know that it's 8 a.m. And just in case, if there's anybody who had to leave, thank you so much for being here. But we're going to rock out till 8:30 a.m. And we're going to keep the conversation flowing. And I see Jacqueline's hand is up. So let's hear from Sister Jackie before I go on. Hi, Jacqueline.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Oh,
One
sorry.
There's still information, there's still conversation in the chat. Should I address that now or later?
No, you should address it later.
Well, it depends, because sometimes in the chat there's whole other conversations going on, and I don't know if it's going to be, is it conducive to what we are, not to that say that it doesn't matter, but I know sometimes there's chatter going back and forth as opposed to what, so you can fill that out. Do you think that is something that before Jacqueline goes on?
Well, Jacqueline has a comment in here.
Well, she's already.
Yeah,
she's already on.
my comment. You don't have to.
She can
my comment is long. I'm a special education professional, and I that was what my career was about until I retired. One of the things that I was listening to yesterday, and I wanted to make sure that people understood this, is with my parents, I would tell them, please get your child medically evaluated completely before you start going into these psychological evaluations and all of that. The school districts in New York City, at least, and in New York State, have 60 days, or they're supposed to have 60 days to place your child if they find that they have some sort of disability, for lack of a better term. I like the neurodivergence that Shawnee brought up, but the terminology has constantly been evolving, and we went from doing one thing to another, even in terms of naming the classes and in terms of naming my license. So physically, I always ask them, make sure you get everything checked out in terms of eye, hearing, everything, because sometimes it's a hearing issue and people don't realize that, where the kids are doing that hitting and banging and stuff like that. Something is going on there. So you have to eliminate that first. In terms of the food that Yolanda was talking about yesterday, a lot of people like to try to fatten up their babies very quickly when they're young. And that's something from old school. That's not a good idea. You need to introduce foods one at a time so you can see if they have some kind of allergic sensitivity to it. So allergies do play a part in a lot of these things that's going on. And in terms of what Sister Teresa was talking about, in terms of what's happening with her nephew, it doesn't necessarily have to be autism. It could be any of those other disruptive disorders that they name. That because I taught students with those disorders for about 10 years of my career. So there's so many things that we have to be careful about, and you really have to be on top of your children's medical and psychological, but you really have to be on top of the doctors, because when it came to the immunizations, some children might have more allergic reaction to the thimerosal and some of these vaccines. And I also found out that when you get these vaccines from government agencies, let's say you have Medicaid or you're on one of the state programs, they have these batches of immunizations or vaccines that have thimerosal in them that they're still given to kids even today, because they want to get rid of that inventory. So when you are in a government program and you're getting government sponsored vaccines, you may get that. So you have to specifically ask for it sometimes, and they won't do it sometimes. I had to argue with my my grandson's pediatrician over the phone and told him, listen, I will come down there and pay for it if that's the problem, because I'm not going to have it. And you have to space them out. I have a sorority sister she's a pediatric, she deals with people who have pregnancies after 35 and so on. And she's a fellow from Rutgers. And she was talking about spacing them. Spacing of the vaccines are very important. So I just wanted to jump that and put that in there so that people, would start looking at those things, especially the things that you can control. like the nutrition and things like that. And I think I have a lot of autistic people around me, and they're brilliant, most of them, because I've had students. Most of my students are not severe. We're not severely, diagnosed with severe autism. They were diagnosed with, I hate to say the term that they used to say, but it was trainable or above, you know. And so some of my students were actually very accelerated in certain areas. And it was there was a lot of sensory issues with some, and some that was not. If you look in the comments that I wrote in, and the comments I wrote in the chat, there's a variety of of ways in which it presents itself. And so I don't think there's a particular look. And I'm complete.
Yes, thank you. So let's take a deep breath. That was a lot. Let's take a deep breath. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, because you said a lot and so much that makes a huge difference. Even I didn't know that you can ask for them broken up. My friend who said that her son was doing fine until he got his first vaccination, and she said she saw it because she actually has a brother who has autism, and she was like, "Oh, wait a second, like, is this what's happening to my son?" And she said every other vaccination after that, she told them, "There's no way you're giving my child 3 of these. You're gonna break these up. We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna do the other one." Same like with Yolanda, my friend who was here yesterday, or just being able. So that's being aware. So this is all beautiful of a conversation, because that's what we're here for: autism awareness, and not to just have this as an April thing, but to have this as a January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December thing. So that this way we're bringing this to our communities, because this could have just helped somebody who's in a space, who's in Facebook or right here on Zoom, who says, wow, now I know when I'm going to get my child, even if they have autism already, or if they have some type of diagnosis, I know that I want to now break up their vaccinations. I know that I'm going to do my own research now, so I can look and see what that is that Jacqueline said, that chemical I forget what the name of it is. You can type it in the chat. What's the name of that?
Thimerosal.
Yeah, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, sis. Thank you. So that's absolutely amazing. I'm so blessed and grateful that we have a community here that's able to share, so that this way, when we keep sharing, it just becomes this big piece of, I was going to say bread, but everybody, gluten-free bread, okay? So big piece of gluten-free bread, so that you can so that we can all eat and share from this this wealth. And I just love it. And just thank you so much, Shawnee. I love you. And so some things that I put down, like actions to take if you think that your child may be on the spectrum of autism or have any disability, is to get them tested, get them evaluated. If you feel like you cannot speak to a person about it, and you have a family member and you want me to speak to them, I am more than willing. If you say, I want to say something to you, I don't know how to say it, you want to get me on the 3-way, holler at me. Okay, Kenyoka will drop my link in my Yogisha Flow page there. That's in the you can put that inside the chat, so that you can even have a consultation with me. We can go forward of even just like, you know what, I'm here to help you with tools, tips, coaching, and you get 30 minutes or like 15 to 30 minutes in a consultation, complimentary. So I'm here for it. And I'm at a place where I don't care how someone is to me. Like, I can take it. Like, if I spoke to someone and they were very angry, or they were upset, or started to give me that upset, I can deal with it, because I've dealt with many, many, many parents with them being like, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, that's your kid. And for me to still be with them in the space of, I hear you, and I know what that must be like for you to even hear this conversation or be in this conversation. It's very important for us to be recreating the person and really get in their world, over there with them, so what they may be feeling before you can even go get your kid evaluated. You want to already be in a space with them where you can create that space. So early intervention is the best intervention. Like I said, my son was diagnosed. As soon as the doctor, his pediatrician is the one who pointed it out. She said, does your child point? I said, no. He was my only child. I don't know who to look at. I didn't have any other children around me living with me. And she said, does he say more than 6 words? Nope. Let's get him evaluated. I said, okay. I was just open and available. Okay, not a problem. As soon as he got evaluated, and I remember being in the space with the psychologist, the psychiatrist, they had him in a room. He was doing all these different tests and playing with different toys. And I was like, wow, this is very interesting. Now, will I say that I didn't feel sad? I can't even remember the feelings that I felt. That was like, almost 16 years ago. My son's 17, he'll be 18 this year. So just like, even I'm sure that there was some feelings like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna have to do? But I turned right into super mom. Like, I just had a big A on my chest, on my back. It was like, okay, what we got to get done? Who's going to be his speech therapist? If they had a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, and they said they're not coming, oh, they didn't want to hear from me. I was the parent, like, you better have those people there, and you better have a backup for them. And when they're not there, you have a backup for them. I will write letters to them. They knew if they saw Stacy McLean on a letter or they saw my name, it was like, get that mother whatever she needs ASAP. So you want to be like that for your child. You want to be like, I'm their superhero, I'm their advocate, like God brought them through you so that you can be their advocate. Can you just get that for me? God has given you your child, or whatever that family member is, to you, or they were birthed through you, so you could be their advocate. So even when you think I can't do this anymore, God has already equipped you with the things that you need, even if they're not in your reach yet. He has equipped it within you so that you can get, it may be you reaching out to somebody else so that they can help you to get what you need, but you are their advocate. And if you can't be, and you like, I just can't do this, at least reach out so that somebody else will be able to help you and to help advocate for you. Okay. And then after early intervention, I have a care coordinator with services. Before, it used to be called the Medicaid service coordinator, because no matter where your child is at on the spectrum, even if it's like, oh, you had all this money, you can always be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to get Medicaid. I'm going to get Medicaid, and then the Medicaid will give you a Medicaid service coordinator. And if you didn't have Medicaid, I was one of those parents who came to schools and told people, you can have a non-Medicaid service coordinator, because if you didn't have Medicaid yet, you still needed the services. So I would be at PTA meetings, I would be there and say, okay, this is what you can do. Here are the agencies. There's Evelyn Douglas, there's YAI, there's so many different agencies that's out there, UCP, that are open and willing and ready to help. And then it used to be called, now it's called, oh my goodness, it used to be OMRGD, something like Office of Mental Retardation. They don't have that anymore. This name has changed, but it's, I'm sorry that I don't have it. I'll put it in a Facebook group if someone knows what it is. It's like 5 letters. So those, to get through with that is going to be key, so that this way you can start to get all of those other services. And it's easy. It may sound like a lot. I'm here for you. I'm a resource. It's easy for me, maybe because I'm used to doing it. So that's why I'm here, to be a resource, and I'm excited to be here for you in your time of need, whether you're adult or you have children that's on the spectrum, or just you want to find out how they can get evaluated or how you can speak to the parent. And for older children, it's very important. So let's say you get them diagnosed and you see that their public school is not working for them. And you're like, my kid is in this school, they ain't doing jack for him. And it's important to have an IEP, individual education, like that planning for your child, like they'll have that, because then it goes through what they need. And the school has to make sure that they are meeting those requirements. Occupational therapy in school, speech therapy in school. And if they can't provide it in school, they are to provide it outside of school. That's their duty. If your child needs physical therapy, if they need PT. So all of those things matter, and all of those things are very important. Like with my son, the school that he goes to, my son has some issues regarding executive functioning. Executive functioning has to do with your frontal lobe. And then it's different parts of your brain where the autism is affected. So for him, and what executive functioning is, and this was important for him to go to a school that specializes with executive functioning, because I know that he's going to get what he needs, along with other things like scaffolding, which is the way that you learn, the way that they teach, which is breaking up learning into chunks. It doesn't mean that they get less of the work, but the teachers know. So when my child was in the school with special education teachers in the general ed school, it didn't work because you know what? They were not equipped to deal with a child on the spectrum of autism. They just had, oh, special education and threw them all together. So that was not, that wasn't working. So yes. So, and then those are different things. And then having those services and fighting for your child to be in the school that works. So if you see that your child is in the school and it's not working for you, you can get an educational lawyer. You can actually stop and consult with at least an educational lawyer. So you can say, wow, let me look into that and see what that's like. You need information, I got it. You're gonna have my email at the end of the session. You can contact me. I've had an educational lawyer for the last 3 to 4 years, and she's a beast. And I should have invited her on today, Erica Hartley. And you know, she is, when I say a beast, I mean, like, I know that she is going to get it done. I've won every case that I've had. And I've already declared that my child will be taken care of and that every case will be declared and it will be won until his education is complete. So with that, I am complete with our topic today, and we are going to shake it up and get some movement around in our body so we can just shake it off and release.
Stacy, hold up. Adam had his hand up. Are you still put it down? You still want to share, Adam?
Hi, Adam.
Hi, Stacy. This is a lot to unpack here. I just want to touch on.
There you go.
I'm sorry, y'all. I just want to touch on the bullying aspect when it comes to autism.
Mm-hmm.
Has your child ever reported to you that he's been bullied before? If not, then we need to address and create laws around people who bully and call people autism children all types of names, because I feel like at times it's gotten out of hand. And I'm a victim of it as well when I was in the public schools, which was the worst experience of my life. And I just wish that I had that kind of, you know, that treatment where someone can say, hey, that's not how you know, call somebody out their name. Because when I was in high school, I would report to the principal's office numerous times about someone bullying me, and the principal would not, you know, do anything about it. And they felt like very powerless. So I just want to, you know, address that part. And also, we also need to be mindful of what we feed to our children as well, especially with the water. I don't drink bottled water myself because of the hidden contaminants that's inside. I like to drink filtered water. And I also like to take living bitters, which is good for your body, and it's good to, you know, detox your mind, because when you feed your child any types of food, the auto intoxication start to exist into the body, where he start developing all other disabilities, to the point where he grows up, he doesn't know how to count change, or he doesn't even know how to, you know, speak properly. So I just wanted to, you know, say we need to, you know, it needs to be more strict laws on people who use the word retarded or try to, you know, bully people with disabilities. And I think if there are strict laws that pertains to these things, I think a lot of people would take autism seriously, as they do with the LGBT community. And I respect the LGBT community, because they're saying, hey, you're not gonna, you know, pick on me. We're gonna show our muscles and say, hey, we're human just like everybody else. And I think we need to take that same approach when it comes to autism. And I'm complete.
Oh, I love that, Adam. You just gave me the chill, especially from the last thing you said, because if we all rallied and said we're not going to take this no anymore, and had it that way, that would become a way of life. And you know, I'm sure that they, like, with people with, using the word retarded, or how they had, that has been in our society for so long, mental retardation. It just stopped where, it is recently where they took out the word, or say, oh, don't say the R word. So what's so, even about that is when some people are still just ignorant, and at the same time, I think the word retarded has been abused so badly that the word retarded has actually become so villainized, when the word like actual retarded is like a stagnancy, or there's like a slower process. Something has been retarded. It has been, slower. So because of us using those and making fun of people and saying these different things, the word has just really been like, nobody wants to even hear the word. It's just been associated with pain and trauma for many people. So I totally get what you mean with that. And yes, my son has, and that's how I ended up with him being in another school. He was always in an inclusion program. I always had him in an inclusion program with general ed students or mainstream. When he goes to camp, he will be in programs with with general ed kids and also children who have disabilities. So when he told me at his school, listen, there's this kid who followed me in the bathroom and he had a lighter. And he was like, he said that he's gonna burn me. He made different things. I would be at the school, principal, everything. We would sit down and they would say, well, Joshua just wasn't behaving today. I would say, well, what did he do? So if he had an outburst in class, they would send him back downstairs. So they would take him out the class. If he was just like, I hate math, like in the middle of the math class, okay, Joshua, you have to leave. So how is he getting his lesson? And then with other people saying, like laughing or pointing, they may not exactly have called him names, or maybe said, oh boy, what a goofball, or you're stupid. I haven't heard like any things that were, but they are towards him. So that's still bullying. And especially if somebody's pulling out lighters and doing different things. When I spoke to them, Joshua has an amazing memory. He has a low working short-term memory, but his long-term memory, forget about it. He can tell me anything that happened in 2018. He'll tell you the exact date. On February 2nd, 2018, do you remember this? And it's immaculate, but at the same, so he would be like, that kid had on red shirt, blue sneakers with pink socks, and he had holes on the left and the right side of his jeans. I'm like, my kid knows what he's talking about. And I know because I'm his advocate. I'm in a very close relationship with him. And if he said this, you need to bring this kid in so that we can even mediate, or you're going to speak to their parents. And they'll say, oh, we spoke to them. And I would make sure that they were on top of it. And that's when I was like, okay, we're done. We're going to private school. So it's really also for the parents to see, wow, this school is not the environment for my kids. And sometimes parents may think, I can't pay for school. Great, you can't pay for the school. Still reach out to someone else that you can reach out, so that you can say, okay, I'm going to get a different type of funding, so that this way I can reach out and just find out about different programs that have my kid thrive in a different location. But definitely what you said, rallying around that and being like, we're not going to take it, and maybe have like some type of campaign around that with bullying, and just like, we are people too. We have thoughts and feelings, and it's just not right to point people out. So I got it when you said that. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. And those are the things that, kids are kids. Kids can be something else. We know that. We were all kids. The things that I used to say to kids, things kids used to say to me. So I totally get it. Are you on the spectrum of autism, Adam?
No, not like I was when I was younger.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean,
have you ever been diagnosed?
As a child, yes.
Okay. Well, what was your diagnosis as a child?
Just autism.
Mm-hmm.
But I was highly functioning enough to the point where I can, take regular classes. Never been on medication, never had any other problems. And as you can see, I can drive.
Yeah, which is absolutely awesome. And speaking of driving, I just was at DMV with my son, and he was like, I'm going to drive, right? And I always tell everybody, my son is like the king at manifestation. So I was like, Josh, I believe everything that you say. I know that you want to drive, and you're going to drive. So I get it. Thank you. What'd you say?
And I'm also a quick thinker as well, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why this perfect for today. Autism doesn't have a look. You can't just look at you and be like, oh, I think you have autism. Like, it's like, who can say that? So that's why it's like being with the person and actually like saying to them, oh, or, oh, do you have any, or I don't know, let me ask you, how would you feel comfortable with somebody asking you that didn't know you? Because you might be offended. What will be a way that somebody could ask you, do you have any challenges, or are you on the spectrum? Like, what would a way be that would be acceptable to you?
I mean, for me, they gotta learn how to, understand it and know what autism is, and learn how to, study, human beings.
Right, but what if they don't know that? What I'm asking you is, what's a way that somebody could ask you without it being offensive to you? Or are you just going to be offended either way?
I mean, I'll just, if they ask me if I've been diagnosed, then I would, tell them straight up, this is what I had. And I'll tell them my history behind it.
So what I'm saying is, pretend like I'm somebody who's that I'm somebody who have autism, and you, like, I'm you. How would be the way that you would want somebody to interact with you, to actually ask? If somebody wanted to ask you, oh, do you have a diagnosis? Do you have a challenge? What's the best way that you would be able to receive it?
Or the best way I'll be able to receive it is if they can ask me if I've been diagnosed with autism. I would have no problem. I would have no problem with them asking me that question.
Well, that's awesome. I just want to even acknowledge you for that, because I know some people.
And if they don't accept it, or they do, then that's cool with me. I can move on.
Got it. Well, that's amazing. You are amazing, Adam. So
because you got to realize you're not going to be for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And then with being on the spectrum, like Yolanda was posting something about different things of resources, and with people, how they can change different characteristic change, because she saw it happen with one of her friends. And there's things that I've seen that people who are not on medication say, wow, I watched the kid get on medication and then their lives totally changed around. However, that didn't work out for my son. So everybody's going to have their own way that something may work or may not work. Like my son was on the lowest dosage, I forget, of Focalin, and he tried it for 2 weeks. Now I saw a difference with the way that he responded to some other things, like without getting as upset. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. But then also when he got to school and the nurse would give it to him, or he would, and then after a week, he was like, nope, not taking it. And they were like, why, what's wrong? He was like, I'm having bad thoughts. And I know that there's side effects. I cried when the doctors gave me all the side effects on some of these things. And I was like, I want to take it with him, even though that's not my brain. I want to take it so I can see what I'm going to feel. And I know that some of those things could be stomach pain, stomach aches. You can be hallucinogenic. There's different things that come along with it, but for him, it just didn't work. And for some people, it's amazing. It works for them. They're able to stay focused for long periods of time. Some people take it during the week. They don't take it on the weekends. So it's very imperative to just do what works for you. So I'm glad that we're having this conversation. And I so love you, and thank you so much for being in the space and sharing. And this is Autism Awareness Month. So my thing is that we make this be every month, that, we don't just talk about it in April, but we keep bringing this out to the community. So thank you so much for that, Adam.
You're welcome, Yogisha. And I just wanted to let you know that I'm very unlimited when it comes to my own mobility. So yeah.
Yes.
And you see me work out like every week. So
yes, I know you be on it, and you about your business with your workout, your water. Like I got my alkaline water here, and I know you be about your business. So I acknowledge you for taking care of yourself, staying educated. Like you're all that, and a bag of gluten-free, dairy-free chips.
I know that's right. And I just want to say, one more thing, Stacy. How many people that are doing time in prison that are autistic? That's another thing that breaks my heart.
Wow, Adam, that could be a whole another session, and I'm here for it. So that's something that's great that I have as another topic regarding police, our outside authority, and how they view autism. And I had some conversations with NYPD and was looking into how we could merge and have something. So thank you for bringing that up, because I'm going to touch on that topic as well. And that's woo. I just gotta take a deep breath just for that. But I hear you. And that's something that we're gonna look into as well as a community. I know definitely over here with me, we can count on me to bring that back up forward. So everybody, let's take a deep breath together. It's always good to take a deep breath to release. And before I move on, I do want to acknowledge it's 8:31 for whoever wants and has to leave. And I do see hands up, but I just wanted to acknowledge that in the space so people don't think like, hey, it's 8:30. So thank you so much for being here. I love this community. I thank you so much for being here, and stick around so you can just, win or get the special offer. So thank you so much for being here. And I saw Sahu's feet hand up, and I think there's somebody else hand up too. I can't read it from here.
Okay, yeah, I was just taking it down because of the time. Yeah, so great. Good to see you.
You too, sister.
What does this say?
Where'd your lovely face go? Did you take your face off? There you go.
Right, great. Great day, everyone. Beautiful conversation. Just a couple things for me. This was a part of what can we do. So my degree is actually in music therapy. So I went to school actually for music therapy. I want to make sure that as a musician all my life, I wanted to make sure that somehow I could use my music to really help people. So my training is, as a music therapist, I worked in several autistic centers for a period of 5 years. And just seeing, especially for the higher functioning, it was just beautiful just to see the capabilities of what the students could do, to the point that they could actually have music recitals, real bona fide music recitals, not tinkering around, but really beautiful music recitals, playing bells and everything. And then in Jersey, there was a school that in Edison, they had so much money for all the students. They had so much equipment. I was like, let me just go here. Just as they had the equipment, the bikes, they addressed any type of disruptive disorder. They addressed it through, they had, helmets, right? But the helmets had electric pulse tabs in it to interpret what they were saying in their brain. The school was amazing. And then if they had function with only one hand, from the helmet with the electric bods in it, then they could use their one finger and create sentences. This school in Edison had everything for that human person to deal with in every single way. It was just awesome. So that being said, in terms of the health of the population getting, quote, worse and all of that, for me, it's like the medical system. It's, for me, I just want to encourage everyone to take their communities, to take control of their community, to take control of their families, and do all the research that Sister Stacy is saying, and just continue to support yourself and then support your community, because you cannot believe everything that's out there in the world. We have to do our own research. We have to do it for our family, and we have to extend it to the community, because things are getting worse instead of getting better. And on a, not everybody, but on a, how do you say that? On a larger continuum. So I really want to encourage us to, as grassroots people, to go ahead and keep doing all the research we have. Be that, I love, Stacy, how you said that. Oh Lord, that was boss. What was that statement you said here? I want to leave with, God brought these children through us so we can be their advocate. For me, that's the whole point. To me, thank you, Stacy, for that. God brought the children through us so we can be their advocate. So I want to encourage that. And I'm complete.
Thank you, Sahusti. And yeah, and what she brought up regarding, I'll say for about 30 seconds regarding music, that makes a huge difference. And I know yesterday I spoke about when saying high functioning. So, and I mentioned that in the autistic community, how some of the people who are on the spectrum didn't like that, because I know we label or okay, low functioning, high functioning. So that's why even like, and it was great to have that conversation with Adam, or actually speaking to someone who has autism and ask them, how would you like me to describe this so that you are honored, you know, so that you are, you know, whatever that may be for them, because this is the spectrum, right? So this is mild on my right side, and this is severe on the left. In the middle where my head is at is moderate. This is the spectrum of autism. Asperger's is in there too. Asperger's is still autism. So some people say like Asperger's is like its own special, this is own separate thing. It's on the spectrum of autism. It's autism, right? So so when people are just like, yes, higher functioning means that you are just mild. It's mild. You're mild on the spectrum. So my son, for me, is mild. Like my son goes to the salon by himself. He can travel alone on the bus because he doesn't really like the train. If he's with his friend Kenyon, which is Yolanda's son, he took the train with him, and they went to like, and they walked back home over the bridge. So Joshua is independent, and he is very social. He likes to be out and about. He actually has a date later on today. That would be like a whole nother session, but he has a date later on today. So it's absolutely amazing. And where he's at, his school is ungraded. He is thriving at the same time. His school is ungraded. And I used to make something about that. What do you mean it's ungraded? What grade is he going to be in? Blah, blah, blah. So I always urge parents, caretakers, release yourself. This ain't about you. Your child's development, like who they are in the world. And when they get there, they get there. It's not about you. Joshua's diploma, what year he get it, it's not about me. And me inserting myself there to be like, oh boy, now he's 17, he's gonna be 18 at the end of this month. I know people who was in my school, general ed, and they was in there till 21. They kicked you out at 21. I remember people in there till 21 who didn't have any special needs. And they still didn't graduate after they got kicked out of school. So, I mean, not to say, you know, that's a good thing, because then they had to go to an alternative program. However, what I'm saying is everybody has their own karmic path. They have their own life. Like it's here. And I'm here to keep advocating and keep driving to these different places to make sure that he gets this, that he gets that, and that I keep giving myself knowledge and being in spaces like this. And one other thing that I didn't bring up, which is a love of mine, is to ride horses. That's something also that makes a huge difference with things that you can put in place for sensory or different things. There was a child in Joshua's school when we lived in LA when he was in first grade, and the child stopped speaking when the parents took away him doing horseback riding, and they couldn't afford it anymore. And they said when they took him back, he started to speak again. And there's something that happens, that's will be a whole nother conversation, but with animals, it makes a difference for some people with music, where they're able to interact in different things, sensory, that they can just be and touch things. They can have different sensories, like I have a bag of rice, put your hands in the rice, a bag of putty, squishy stuff, like all these different things. There's just so many levels. I mean, we could talk about this for a year. So thank you so much. And I see, so I'm gonna give whoever else has their hand up, Evelyn, but there's somebody else who has Andrea. So I'm gonna give everybody 2 minutes so that so this way we still get to wrap up. So go ahead, Sister Andrea, you have your hand up. Are you able to come on? Oh, okay, look, somebody
Yes.
else.
Okay, great morning, everyone, and grand rising. You know, I don't know
Hi,
where
who's
to.
that speaking? I'm sorry, who's speaking?
Andrea Fisher.
Oh, okay, hi.
How are you? How are you? Great morning, grand rising to all.
Hello,
Now,
Andrea.
I really want to applaud Brother Adam for sharing. You know, it was really, really, really inspirational. Myself and other ladies, we're co-founders of the only ADA garden in Far Rockaway. So this topic, I'm learning so much, because one of the things is that we want to cover all spectrum, from physical limitation, I call it challenges, from all the levels of the various challenges, whether it be physical, emotional, you know, we run the spectrum. So this is really inspirational for me, and for Adam to be so transparent. I really, really love that. And I really applaud you and hold you up right now in this moment, in this space. Is very, very key for me because I see your authenticness come out, you know, you talk, you know, and being very transparent of what you experienced, what you're doing now. And, you know, I'll just put my information in the chat because there's so much for me to learn because the garden is new and it's developing. And this is the type of feedback that would be helpful for us so that the garden can be of service to the people our mission is all about. So I am so, 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 so blessed to be in this space today. You don't know how appreciative I am. Words cannot explain my emotion right now, how I feel, but I'm very grateful. And to the chat, everyone I see put, and Sister Jackie, she made a very important point about the drug and the chemical that's in the vaccines. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But being in the healthcare field myself, I know what she's talking about, and that could be a whole different topic on a whole different day because that's deep. Anybody who knows about, yeah, anyone who knows about Gary Null, he has done extensive research on vaccines and the effects it has on children at a very young age. You know, someone also mentioned quickly, and then I will get off, about other countries. I know where I came from, Guyana. We didn't give vaccine. That's something I remember as a child because one of the things when I saw the various challenges that children have here in this country, I said, well, we didn't have that in Guyana at such an early age, you know. Not to say that it didn't, but I remember we didn't get vaccines so quickly back to back to back. You know, you go to the doctor this month and maybe 2-3 months later, you may, you know, and especially if the mother's breastfeeding, then they wait because the breastfeeding babies, they get their immunity from the mom's breast milk. So it's a whole different conversation, but you know, but I'm so grateful for the space today. A lot of heavy topics came up. I mean, all valuable. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Andrea. Thank you so much. And make sure you put your information in the chat about the garden. I love gardens. I love flowers. Look, I picked some cherry blossoms yesterday as I hugged some trees and outside. So yes, let us know and put that information in there, and maybe we can also connect. You'll have my information at the end, and it's also in the chat. Thank you so much. And even though you had no words to express, I could feel your energy from there. So we could all take a deep breath with Andrea and then have our sister Evelyn come on, take a deep breath, everyone.
Thank you.
It's all in the breath. Release, release, release. You always stop to take a breath and shake it out. That's self-care, even if it's a breath for a minute. So yes, put that information in the chat. Thank you so much. Hi, Evelyn, sister Evelyn. I didn't know that was you. You're on mute.
Hiya. Well, good morning. And I'm sorry I jumped in a little later, but you know, I think you hit it on the nose when you were talking about the different types of approaches that we could support. I know with my son, you know, I had tried music, I had tried arts and crafts, I had tried even sports, but what made it work for him was working with animals. So I had him in a training program. So
wait,
that
not to cut you off. So your son, you have a son who has autism?
Yes, he's on the spectrum, but and he also has a comorbid disorder because he was also challenged with major depression.
How old is he?
My son now is 31.
Okay.
So I want to let everyone know, you know, it's amazing because, you know, he was intellectually, you know, challenged. My son was adopted and, you know, he had a lot of trauma prior to adoption, but he is now working as for the Piedmont, you know, volunteer department, fire department. He's working in a kennel. He's doing tremendous, but he's gotten to a point now where he's able to tell people, I have autism, but I'm also Ernie. I can do X, Y, and Z. So he recognizes his condition, but because of that condition, he is also doing so many beautiful things that he loves that I wonder if otherwise he would have been doing. So now he's mentoring young children because he's also great with children. So yes, intellectually, his cap is 3rd, 4th grade reading level, but his heart is PhD. So what he can give is amazing, but sometimes it takes exploring different venues or different outlets because it's not a cookie cutter for everyone. And I just wanted to share again, and I know that you have touched on this, but it took me, even with all my knowledge in school-based mental health, because that's what I do for a living, I still had to fight hard because they still had him in a regular special education setting. And I was like, this is not his setting. And I had to align with his primary doctor. Having advocates is so important. I know you also touched on that, but making sure that I have a good team. Yes. And that's important in our community, right? It's I feel like for me being Latina and single parent, at the point I had, wait a minute, it's almost like I felt like I was looked at differently and treated differently. I was like, if I was in Scarsdale, would things have been different? But I'm like, no. I am beyond Scarsdale material. So and so is my family. We are going to get the resources that we need. And it took me a whole year, but I had him placed in a specialized school that provided all these wonderful, rich materials. But I think the team is important, ladies and gentlemen. I think having that primary doctor that's going to be there helping you write these letters, your mental health provider, because kids do struggle emotionally and we think we just see it as autism, but sometimes there could be comorbid, issues as well. And we need to address that because that makes it even more complicated for a child to express what they're feeling.
Evelyn, let me ask you, and if you can explain it and like give us like a minute version of what is that you say, because comorbid, I want to make sure that the community knows what that is.
So he also had he suffered from major depression and he suffered from PTSD. So he was struggling with these 2 mental health disorders, which made it and social anxiety, which made it difficult, even more difficult for him to express himself. Also having all these developmental challenges. So comorbid, meaning that he had multiple diagnoses going on that were challenging his ability to engage with others, right? And that made it even more challenging because I've had 2 primary doctors who sat there and were getting frustrated because he wouldn't answer them. And I'm like, excuse me. I had to take the doctor aside and say, I need you to use your medical skills to address him in the way that he needs to be addressed because you're not doing your job. So how can you be a good clinician to him? How can he, it was
awesome.
So I found a good primary doctor who, my son used to love Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. So I bought a deck of Pokemon cards and I said, okay, you know what? You want to get to know Ernie, start with these deck of cards for 30 seconds, engage him and you'll have, and I want you to have a rapport with my son, and because you're going to be my lead. So we can advocate, we can ask for that, but having those team members are so essential to make life easier when we're trying to get resources for our kids. We don't have to do it solo is what I learned, and I learned it the hard way. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. Yes, and Stacy, you having this platform is just amazing, and thank you.
Thank you, sister.
And you're right. Somebody in the chat just put comorbidity may not be so obvious, and it's true because sometimes we just think of someone being quiet as shy. Sometimes we think of someone just being, it's
and
sometimes it gets very muddy there.
Yeah. Or we think because we know that people know. So thank you so much. Let's take a deep breath in with Evelyn, everybody. Thank you all so much. Thank you, sister. Thank you. This has been absolutely amazing. I want to thank you all so much. It is 8:50. And my phone, I got up because my battery said something. I'm like, I know this been charged. I don't know because the light is so bright. So I just wanted to get to pull this chart. When you see this, autism is not a disability, it's a different ability. And it's funny
Beautiful.
because my son hasn't probably done that dance, but I look at that and see Josh. And let me tell you something. I actually had a slide today of Joshua to say, you know, autism doesn't have a look. And I had to ask myself, did you get Joshua's permission to use this picture? He's 17 years old. He's not going to be on Wake Up Everybody. Somebody can see, but did I ask him? So I actually texted him last night and I said, Stacy, your text is not going to work. He's at grandma's. And I called him and I said, Josh, I'm doing an autism awareness on facilitation tomorrow. Wake Up Everybody. Can I use your picture regarding like autism doesn't have a look? He was like, I don't know. I'll think about it. I said, well, if you can't think about it. Look, I told him, you can't think about it. I kind of need to know now because I got to send the picture. And then he was like, I can see his face without seeing him. Probably like, oh, should I please my mother? Or kind of not really. He's like, nope. I said, oh, so no, I can't use it. He said, no, okay, bye. And he hung up and I was like, because he was on the other line with his girlfriend. Oh, I'm on the other line. And he was just like, no. And I was like, okay, I got it. Thank you. And I didn't use it today. So also checking in, don't automatically assume like, okay, well, he'll be fine with it. If a child didn't have autism, would you ask them if they was just like general ed? So much awareness, my family. So thank you. Thank you. We can go to the next slide. I so love and appreciate everything that's been said here today, the community. I love you all. My special offer is one participant will receive a 30-minute autism advocacy consultation. So the first person, and yesterday's two people, somebody called and I was like, you know what? No, one person. So she was one of the people, the first to email. So she won yesterday. So you will get a autism advocacy consultation, 30 minutes free, or even if it was just like coaching, he was like, I don't need a consultation. I need some coaching on some tools or tips or resources for that 30 minutes. And you're a person who have a child or family member, or caretaker of someone on the spectrum of autism, special needs, then you can give me, email me right there at that email address. And anybody else who wanted my email address, there it is. Yogisha Stacy. I don't have an E in my name. YOGISHASTACY @gmail.com. Okay. And my phone number is 347-946-1850, which my beautiful admin already dropped in the chat. Facebook is just Yogisha. My Instagram is @Yogisha1. My email, we just said it. And then my website, and I declared that was dropped in, which is my flowcode.com/page/Yogisha. You can go there and see what free offerings I have, what deals I may have on coaching, yoga, pranic healing, because I'm also a healer who does energy work and all that good stuff. So you can check it out on that page. Thank you. And love offerings and donations. So you can Zelle Quick Pay anything that you want to give today as a donation. Cash App to $ Spirit of a Woman. Or you can click on the Cash App code, which is probably, I'm pretty sure it was already put in the chat. So you can just click the link, it'll take you straight to Cash App. And money, as we say here in the Woo space as an acronym, my own natural energy yield. So give to me. I would love it. I would take it. The code is #570SM for Simply Marvelous. It's 570 for Stacy McLean. So you can put the code in and you can send it, and I will appreciate anything that you send. It's so great. I get to buy candles, or I can go to the spa. I can buy incense, flowers, things that I love, you know, like things you love to get when you have some shmoney. Thank you. Awesome. And then we have new monthly automated love offerings where you can actually give monthly if you like, $25, $50, $75, or $100 a month. And each has its own link that's going to be put into the chat. And you can take that on. It's kind of like, you know, church. Some people be like, look, Woo is my church. It's good like a church. $25 a month. You probably spend $25 a month on, hey, on Starbucks, right? And you be like, hey, I get as much as I get here from Starbucks. So you can feel free to send the love. It's in giving that we receive. So there go all of the different links there. Thank you so much. I love you too, Jacqueline. And next up, who I'm so proud and happy to see join us tomorrow, join us Sunday, April 24th, 2022 for Sharing the Vision Sankofa Sojourns, facilitated by Gina Lay. Wait, let me say it right. Lato. Okay, so it's Gina Lato Youth. Okay, Gina Lato Youth. Sister Gina gonna be up in this space. I'm looking forward to seeing her. What a beautiful being. And then we welcome all. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Can you want me to do that part? Welcome. All the Woo members, we welcome all the new members. So if you are new in the space today, we thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming on. And do come back again. We welcome you to come back again. Share with everybody else. Share the link. Share our page and just be like, hey, just hop on for some goodies. Even if you text them 2 days before, the night before, the morning of, whoever you think is the person that's not going to come in, send it to them. We welcome all of you. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate and love you. Thank you so much.
And new members, please come back. This is our schedule, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 7 to 8:30, and Monday and Wednesday, 7 to 7:30. So you have a choice of long days, short days, or you can include them all. We're always streaming on Zoom and on Facebook. And if you would like to receive messages in the morning to wake you up, you will type Woo Nation, send the Woo Nation to this number, 74121, and that you will do that in your text. And we have swag. So you can go to bit.ly/Woo Swag and get a variety of things. You can get a thermos, you can get a mug, laptop sleeve, a bag, journal, sweatshirt, mask. You have different choices of different colors and sizes, and just find out what works for you and get your swag. Represent. Stay in touch. We ask that you register every week so that you can get the lineup for the new week, and you will get it via email. So bit.ly/Wake Up Movement. We have a Facebook private page and a Facebook public page. So the private page is where we're streaming live now. So if you're unable to come into the Zoom space, you can go to the private space if you are a member, right? So if you're not a member, you're going to type this in bit.ly/Woo Community and request to be admitted. Somebody will admit you, and then you will be part of the conversation on Facebook. And we have a public page, which is just like a fan page. You go there, bit.ly/Woo Nation, uppercase Woo Nation, and press like so that you can be notified. We're on Instagram, Wake Up Everybody Virtual, YouTube, bit.ly/Woo on YouTube. Email us at info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And so today is Thursday, and you get a special invitation to join us behind the scenes. Help us stay here, help us be here, help us create all of the magic and support the facilitators. There's so many things to do. Regardless of time, regardless of talent, you have something that you can share, you can offer, and we're looking for you. So email info.wakeupseries@gmail.com and say yes, and then find out what there is that you are actually volunteering for. You will not be what's the word I'm looking for? Disappointed. You will not be disappointed. And you learn also in the process. So with all that said, I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to ask everybody to unmute and give Stacy a love shower for this great presentation.
Love you, Stacy.
Thank you.
Stacy, for this great
Love
presentation.
y'all.
We love you all.
Thank you,
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Thank you, Stacy.
Oh,
We love you.
Yogisha,
Thank you for
we
going there. We
appreciate
really all
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Bless
We
and
Yes.
support
appreciate
everybody.
you, Yogisha.
I love y'all.
We love you. We love you too,
I love this
Adam.
space.
Sam, we love you, brother. We love
Yes.
you,
Love.
La la
family.
la la
Love you,
la,
This is
woo
very
woo,
emotional.
everything.
yeah, la 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 la, woo,
Love y'all.
Stacy, la 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 la,
Yes,
woo woo, yeah, go
Let's make love
Yisha.
together, everybody.
Hey, thank
yes.
you so
Love
much.
y'all so much,
Woo
family.
Thank
woo.
y'all so much. I love
Love
y'all.
y'all.
Hey,
Thank you.
beautiful
Yogisha, thank
Sunday.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Knowledge
talking
is
about this
power.
subject,
Thank
Stacy.
you.
So many people don't know how to get help, and you helped people so much today.
Yes.
Beautiful,
Thank
beautiful
Yes.
you.
content.
I
Yes.
It
appreciate
touched
y'all.
my heart
And I
so much,
appreciate that I can
Stacy.
share.
Yes.
Yes, we love
Knowledge
you,
is
Adam. We
power.
love you,
I
Thank
love
brother.
you.
y'all back.
We love you. Thank you so much. Love y'all,
We help you
family.
God.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Stacy.
Peace and
Thank
blessings.
you.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone.
May the
Thank
universe
you.
give everybody whatever they need to take care of their kids financially, mentally,
Amen.
socially, and
Amen.
spiritually.
Amen.
Intercession.
Please send it. Send it
Intercession.
send it in abundance.
Thank you for
Thank you.
Send it